Hey guys, how you guys doing? It's March 12th, 2018. Hoping you're having a wonderful day, guys, and a blessed day indeed. Two things I want to talk about today. Of course, we're going to follow up about the situation as it pertains to North Korea, right? The meeting that Donald Trump stated that is going to occur, hopefully by May. Another thing we want to talk about is the nerve agent attack that happened in the UK, and Theresa May came out today, and so did the White House in response, so we'll also talk about that. First, we're going to hit on North Korea, though. The KCNA and the North Korean regime has not come out yet officially and stated that, hey, these talks are occurring. And it's really weird. It has a lot of people puzzled, right? The White House came out today and said even though they haven't heard anything from North Korea, they still believe these meetings, or this meeting between Trump and Kim Jong-un, it's going to occur. You know, everything's still on track. But it has people, puzzled. Seoul came out and said that North Korea might be cautious about, talking about this, about officially bringing out this meeting. But I just don't see why. I feel like if Donald Trump accepted their meeting, the whole point of North Korea doing this, or a big point, a factor in this, is that a sitting president meeting with Kim Jong-un, with North Korea, that makes their regime legitimate. That really helps propaganda internationally and domestically. This would be a huge win for them. So I find it odd that they're not, they're not putting this out. That officially the KCNA isn't spinning this to make it look like North Korea is the stronger partner here, that North Korea reached out this hand, the U.S. accepted, they had to accept because North Korea is this nuclear-fledged state. I just find it weird that they're not taking this opportunity. North Korea, you can say a lot about North Korea, but they are very good at taking the opportunities that they are presented. Okay, so I find it really odd that we're not seeing the KCNA or North Korea as a whole come out and say, yeah, this meeting's happening. Yes, we sent the invitation. Yes, Donald Trump accepted. The whole situation is extremely fishy, something that I question. I've been questioning every day, like, well, there's got to be something. Like, what's going on here? But between what we've already talked about, North Korea working on these nuclear weapons, their missile programs for decades and decades, and billions of dollars put into this. Millions of people dying. While they've been trying to attain this goal of a nuclear state, why would they give it up so easily? That's the number one biggest thing that's weird to me, that I just don't see happening. Another thing is them, missing this opportunity. Kim Jong-un sees that Donald Trump accepts this invitation to meet with him. Why are they not using that? You would think that they would immediately use that to help fuel their propaganda. It's what they've always done. It's what they're really good at. They've got like 25 million slaves inside their country. They're basically 25 million slaves, all right? So they use propaganda extremely well, and I just can't believe I haven't seen them use this opportunity yet. The next thing so we're going to have to keep on watching that, guys. North Korea, just because there's a quote-unquote meeting planned, yeah, it's not the end of it, okay? I bet my bottom dollar it is definitely not the end. We're going to have to continue to watch that. Another big thing is the West and Russia, okay? The West and Russia for a long while have been gearing up what seems to be towards an armed conflict, okay? I feel like I hear leaders around the world talk about nuclear war more than I ever have, okay? More than I ever have. It's insane. The amount of times I've heard the nuclear war, nuclear attack, those terms be thrown around, all right? It really makes you wonder, okay, is something going to come? Like, are they expecting this big conflict? Well, the UK, they had that nerve agent attack happen with that ex-intel officer, I believe, from Russia, ex-ambassador maybe, and then his daughter. Britain came out, they were investigating it. Theresa May came out and said today that likely this nerve agent, this attack, was orchestrated by Moscow, by Russia. All right, basically, she came out and said that this was probably Russia and that there's going to be some consequences for this. All right. The White House also came out and stated that, they're thinking this is Russia as well, and that they're going to formulate responses with their allies. All right. A big, I don't want to say cluster, but a big flashpoint in the world right now is Syria, right? It's a huge catalyst. We've got multiple countries who are in Syria. We've had a couple chemical attacks over the past couple years in Syria, all right? And the West has been using their propaganda to push that, hey, this was Assad. Hey, this was Assad, that sometimes even Russia knew about it, all right? You've got UK, France, the United States of America all stating, hey, if the UNSC doesn't do something, if chemical weapons are consistently used in Syria like they have been, and we find out about it, we're going to bring our militaries in. And you heard that again. You heard that again today with Nikki Haley. She told the United Nations Security Council that the United States of America would act in Syria, if the United Nations didn't get involved, if we didn't, go into Syria and they didn't do something like a ceasefire that will actually work. The problem here is the U.S., France, the U.K., the United Nations, everybody doesn't expect a ceasefire to hold. All right, they don't expect things to be fixed in Syria. All right, that's not part of the plan. Part of the plan right now is to demonize Assad and Putin in Syria. Okay, and the West is going to use that as propaganda to fuel another conflict in Syria, and we're seeing that. I mean, we're seeing Macron of France and Theresa May in Britain and Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, H.R. McMaster all talk about how chemical weapons are being used and that their militaries will go in and strike Syria if it continues. And we hear Assad and Putin and all these human rights groups that come out and say, listen, we don't think... Assad's saying, I'm not doing it. Putin's saying, Assad's not doing it. And then more often than not, different third-party groups are coming in and saying, yeah, we don't think this was Bashar al-Assad. We don't think this was Syria. This seems like it was a third-party entity, And I love America. I love America. I'm a huge patriot, served my country, okay? I love America. But if you love America, you truly do, you need to understand when we make mistakes, when we have people in power in our country who are pushing agendas that aren't good for America, that they're good for the top 1%, or they're good for the rich and the powerful who are running the show. And America's not the only country that has this. Every country has these people that work behind the scenes. All right, they work behind the scenes. They make the big decisions. They have the agendas. They push world events to help them. It doesn't help their country. Okay, it helps the individual, not the whole. All right, so we're going to have to continue to watch what happens in Syria. It looks like the United States of America and her allies are pushing for this whole agenda that Bashar al-Assad has been using chemical weapons, and if he continues, which spoiler alert, he's going to continue. If he continues, then the U.S. and her allies are going to use their military force in Syria. All right, there's a couple places in the world right now where things are falling apart. And when we talk about World War III, when we talk about a greater conflict in the world, and people are like, oh, it'll never happen, blah, blah, blah. You just got to open your eyes. You got to open your eyes and see the amount of military movement. You got China, Russia, the United States all increasing their military budget, all moving their military around a lot. We got China in the South China Sea. We got China putting bases in the Middle East, in Africa. We got Russia... their sphere of influence in the Middle East has been nothing but growing. All right, we got Turkey, who's supposed to be a NATO member, but they've been cozying up with Russia more and more. And I don't even get me started on Turkey. But we have alliances being made and lines being drawn in the sand, and we need to understand that something big is coming. Okay, like you got these guys online who talk to you, and a lot of them are great people, right? But They put out these predictions for these dates, and that's something you can't do, because when you do that, if you put a prediction out with a date, and that date comes and goes, but things are still happening, things are still building up, you lose people. People say, oh, you're just insane, you're a conspiracy theorist, But what we're seeing, though, is lines are being drawn in the sand, militaries are being built up, all right? We have different world events that make you think, man, wow, you can see where different countries are lining up. It's easy to see, and it's something we're going to have to continue to watch, guys. As more information about this and more come out, I'll let you guys know. Syria, North Korea, anything. But what happens with the UK, how they're going to respond to Russia if they come out and say Russia was the one who ordered this nerve agent attack. The United States in their meeting with North Korea. We're going to tell you guys about that as more information about it comes out. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Have a beer, say a prayer. And as always, guys, now in the rest of 2018, keep your eyes to the skies. Thanks, guys.